Hello traders, it's my weekend video, 2/12 of 17. You can follow me at Gumby9662C on Twitter, and be sure and like the video if you like it, and make any comments you possibly can to expand my knowledge if at all possible, and stuff you agree with or disagree with, at any rate. What I'm really looking at, I'm thinking crude is going to break out higher this week. We had horrible data out last week, and crude still managed to hang in there. And we're trading back near the nearing the top of the range it's been trading in. And we had a major thing going. We had a Fed head talking Friday, and he's talking like there's only going to be one rate hike this year. And I'm kind of leaning in the same atmosphere or whatever, or a bias, because I just don't think with all these changes we're having in the market, like the tax reforms and all that stuff, the Fed wants to rock the boat too much until we get some of this stuff solid in place. But we'll see what happens. On this purple line right here, I put USO as an overlay onto HIG, and you can see as your high yield bonds typically sell off, so does crude. And so far we have been basing out here on crude, putting in what I could call a bull flag, or a bullish wedge, or a bull flag, okay, on crude. And what's going on here on your high yield bonds, on your weekly right here, we're getting these topping these tails, and this suggests to me that our high yield bonds are wanting to push higher, a more risk-on appetite into the bonds, and a lot of these bonds are held by oil companies. So that suggests to me that oil prices are likely to catch a bid here in the next couple weeks. And what I'm seeing here on crude, we had a horrible week. I mean, it was just Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, the numbers were just were horrible, but yet crude caught a solid bid right back to the top of the range into Friday here, and we got a higher low. We'll cross right back over the 50, and we're right back near the tops of the range. So that's why I really think crude's got potential for a breakout move out of this consolidation range we've been in since December. I had mentioned before in one of my prior videos that I thought we were going to get a parabolic move in the Qs, and we were going to get back to this trend line, long-term monthly trend line. And we got a solid breakout move last week. So just keep this in mind. I do think Qs are going to be coming up tagging us. And this really was led by Priceline there Friday. I mean, Priceline was unreal. But just keep this in mind, there looks like plenty of upside potential for the Qs. Your NYA, this is your broadest breadth indicator for the markets. And if you notice, we have a prior double top trend line. And I do think the NYA is going to be coming up to the 11,370 area. Here this week, and then we might have a couple weeks of sideways consolidation before the market decides what it wants to do from there. Another measure I use is the RSP. It's an equal weighting of the S&P 500, and this suggests that we might have as much as another 15% move higher in the S&P 500 for the breadth to catch back up to the upper side of the prior trend. So just keep this in mind. Everybody says this market's overbought. But quite frankly, what we had back in 2015 is breadth diverging, and there was just a few leadership stocks. Well, now if breadth does come back into the markets, like I said, we could have another 10 to 15% more upside in the S&P 500. Another area I want to talk about here, we have a long-term trend on the diamonds, and we broke out of a prior resistance area as of Friday on the diamonds with quite a bit of bullish sentiment. Now, for us to get back to this long-term trend line on the diamonds, we're looking about another 7% upside move in your diamonds. So just keep that in mind I know a lot of people think this market is topped, but based on the fibs and everything, I think we're probably just getting started. So, for a rapid move up in the next couple weeks. Now, wild card is your IWM because it has so much regional bank exposure. And if the Fed comes out saying that we're only going to have one more interest rate increase this year, this here is probably going to go from a leader into a laggard for the markets. So just keep this in mind. Like I said, I'm quite bullish on the markets, but I just don't know how these interest rates are going to pan out, to be honest. So just keep it. Personally, I wouldn't be putting bullish bets on the Russell, in my opinion. Looking ahead to this week, Amgen, pretty big dividend payer. So just keep this in mind. They did lose that court case with Regeneron last week, so there's potential downside risk to Amgen there. And then you have Valero, which is a refiner. Target, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now those are ex-dividend Mondays, so are too late to get into. But Chevron is going to be ex-dividend Tuesday. That's a big player. And that's really, you have Microsoft too, but that was the biggest one. Mattel. Now Wednesday, there's several big dividend payers. The ones I pay, 3M, and then Royal Dutch Shell, and Duke Energy are some of the ones I trade. United Technologies too. So just keep that in mind for your dividends Wednesday. Now, some things to keep an eye on. You got bond auctions Monday, and if the high yield bonds, the charts are holding true and everything what I'm seeing in the bonds, this is going to send your TLT lower, okay? So just keep that on your radar for Monday. Then you have Janet Yellen speaking Tuesday, and you have several Fed heads speaking Tuesday too, okay? So keep that in mind. And last week we did have consumer optimism ticking down a little bit, so that's another thing to be a little bit worried about for this week. And then we have some Red Star events happening Wednesday, so that's going to be a full course of economic activity Wednesday. Now, as far as shareholder events and stuff hitting the markets, Wednesday we do have Time Warner Cable hitting, so just keep that on your radar. A bunch of these others, you have to do your own research, but the other ones are not really active stocks. Earnings of interest tomorrow, you got Teva, Noble Energy, that's one that I follow. Rent-A-Center, that's something insignificant. 1 second. And then Tuesday you have Fossil, Devon Energy. And if their energy rates are anything like they have here for Duke, they are jacking the crap out of us for electricity. So, see, Boyd Gaming is a casino stock. I mentioned that before. Morrison Core is a brewing company. Quite possibly do quite well. So that's some of the... Oh, Lending Club, a lot of traders like to trade that one. That is a pyramid scheme, which I stay away from that. The big tech giant Cisco reports Wednesday, so keep that in mind. Groupon, which I think is a bad business model, but we'll see what happens. TripAdvisor, that's we already saw Priceline going to the moon, so I don't see any really bad things for TripAdvisor. Pepsi, if it's anything like Coke, it's going to get hit. And Marriott, that whole industry has been doing very well. Intap is a Chinese company. A lot of those have really been underwater. So Applied Materials has been doing quite well too. So, and CBS has been off to the moon. So that's something to keep in mind. Marathon Oil, that's another one I think will do pretty well. They keep expanding and everything. So, but at any rate, I think it's going to be an up week, and so just keep that in mind. And good trading, everybody. That's all I had to say for this weekend.